welcome everyone to the Time Waste Podcast, where I'm wasting my time talking and your time listening. Except today, I am not wasting my time. Ha ha! I have to talk about this thing for my Women's and Gender Studies course, so I'm mostly wasting your time while using my time for doing my own homework. So, what the hell am I supposed to be talking about? Well, anything really. As long as, well, somehow related to these methodologies or concepts from my course. I mean, you're probably going to learn what my course is about. Because, well, I gotta explain what the hell each thing means. Because, do you know what semiotic means? Hell nah, probably not at all. That'll never just come up naturally in a conversation. So if you think ugh, what is this man talking about? I'ma try and keep it stupid simple, or as we call it in my engineering courses, cause I am indeed a engineering student, KISS! Cause keep it stupid simple, KISS. Yeah, whatever, you get it, I think. I get it. You get it? Anyways, I wanted to talk about LGBTQ plus stuff in media. I might say other things like LGBT or LGB. It's a long acronym. I mean, the current acronym, I don't even know what all the terms are. It's way too long. It's just too hard to say. It's not catchy anymore. But, these days, all these goddamn boomers keep saying that, these shows, these medias all went woke, all this gay ass shit everywhere. And, I mean, sometimes they're right. No, hold on. I know all you people in the LGBTQ community are gonna be like, well, hold on a minute. I thought this was about, am I on the wrong side of the internet? Am I on the wrong podcast? No, just give me a second. Just listen. You'll understand. So, like myself, I love woke media crap, or just any LGBTQ stuff in media. I mean, honestly, it never bothers me. But I do think that some shows are just trying to make something woke instead of making an LGBTQ show. I mean, what do I mean by that? Aren't they just, the same thing? Not really. Let's look at, a really good example of what an LGBTQ show is, alright? Arcane. Probably one of the most beloved shows among LGBTQ fans. Alright? Now let's look at, the semiotics of Vi. Now, before we talk more about Arcane, we need to define semiotics. We gotta make sure that you understand semiotics the way that I understand it, alright? Semiotics is just a study of how we decode signs and symbols. Now, think about texting somebody, right? Someone sends you a skull emoji. You don't think oh my god, they're dead. No. You decode the meaning of that skull, which probably means that they are laughing really hard. So goddamn hard that they feel like they're gonna pass out. Right? The skull is the visual signifier, and your brain connects the image of the cultural meaning just automatically. This is semiotic in action. Now let's look at the semiotics of Vi. Alright? The animators did not just put a rainbow pin on her and just call it a day. Her entire character design is a collection of semiotic signs. Her undercut hairstyle, her muscular build, her tattoos, and her utilitarian blah, 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 blah. Sometimes words don't come to me, so I'm gonna be doing blah, 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 this. We're making this ASMR stuff. Anyways, utilitarian clothes. These are all visual signifiers. I mean, the signified meaning behind those choices is specific. Authentic queer identity. She is just visually coded as a butch lesbian, breaking away from the standard male gaze, and her identity is literally drawn into her animation geometry. Now, if we are talking about semiotics and visual design, we have to talk about John Berger. Now, before you ask, why am I bringing up some dead, random British art critic that, well, frankly, I've never heard of until I took this damn course? Well, Berger wrote a foundational book called The Way of Seeing Things. And he is a scholar who cracked the code on how media looks at women, famously saying that men act and women appear. Basically, he proved that traditional visual culture frames women as passive objects existing strictly for the male audience to consume. Unfortunate that we live like this. We use this framework because it is apparently the academic gold standard for analyzing the male gaze. But here's the thing. Arcane throws Berger's traditional model completely out the window. I mean, the semiotics of Vi explicitly reject the traditional male gaze. The camera doesn't linger on her to sexualize her breast or whatnot. It focuses on her scars, her kinetic power, and her agency. She is an active participant in her own story, not a prop for audience viewing pleasure. And this is why the representation feels authentic. Her queer identity is allowed to exist without being filtered through a lens designed to appease the straight male viewers. So if Arcane gets it right by baking the identity into characters, what does it look like when a studio gets it wrong? Now that brings up to the second concept from my class, political economy. To keep it stupid simple, political economy just means looking at the money. It examines how corporate structures and profits motivate or influence what we see on screen. Now let's look at Disney in the movie Lightyear, that Buzz Lightyear movie. Good heavens. The inclusion of a lesbian kiss scene caused massive controversy. But a lot of the critique from the queer audience wasn't about the kiss itself. It was about the performative tokenism. According to this researchers Yang and Heisch, I think that's German, I cannot pronounce it, but Heisch. Disney often relies on subtle visual cues rather than meaningful integration. It is a strategy designed to serve corporate interests over genuine inclusion. Another scholar, Thompson, calls this commodification of LGBTQ activism. Basically, it is rainbow capitalism. Corporations use the imagery to generate profit and score diversity points. But the representation is entirely hollow, and it is a checklist, not like a lived experience like Vi. Now, in the grand scheme of things, do we have to have LGBTQ representation in all media? Well, no. Well, I don't think so, at least. Clearly, with the example with the movie Lightyear, shows that including LGBTQ themes for the sake of needing diversity leads to controversy that just doesn't add anything to the story. And, well, Arcane doesn't have that issue. A big part of Vi's character is her falling in love with someone who's considered the enemy. Could have this love story be completely straight? Absolutely! And the story wouldn't have changed, but that's the amazing part about it. The fact Vi is a lesbian has no impact on the story. It is done so naturally that the audience doesn't even realize that this is LGBTQ representation. I mean, most viewers, including myself, just sees our main character fall in love with another girl she is attracted to. The story doesn't force the love either. Oh crap, I forgot it. I should say who Vi is actually falling in love with. It's Kate. Her name's Caitlin. I'm gonna say Kate a lot. It's easier. I mean Vi. Her name's not Vi, it's Violet. Alright, everyone says Vi and Kate, Kate, Vi, Violin, shipping names. Anyways, so when these two lovebirds first meet, it's a look of disgust and anger. Like, both of them absolutely hate each other. Kate represents the type of people who killed Vi's parents, and Vi represents the slums and criminals that Kate has to deal with as a enforcer in the show. Or, well, I guess I shouldn't say enforcer, because that doesn't make sense. Basically, the police in the show, but they're called enforcers. Both of these characters had a very clear vendetta against each other, but are forced to work together. And of course, Vi's natural charisma and general caring nature shows up, and both Kate and Vi fight mostly because of their preconceived notion of each other. But as they stick together longer and learn about the issues they face, they slowly fall in love with each other as they learn really who they are deep down. This isn't just like a shallow love story where they're just two hot characters. Kate and Vi were considered enemies towards each other, and to them, they wouldn't even think about being together for a split second. But their whole love story isn't about LGBTQ empowerment, or being about strong, independent females that have to prove themselves. They are just people who have crap in their lives they have to deal with. They feel human. Something you could possibly experience. And that is important. It is relatable. 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 Something real they had. Lively here just had random lesbian couple. The character had no introduction, no purpose to the overall story, and no motivation to be there. However, they had a very short few second scenes where they had to kiss. Felt forced, not natural, and pointless for the story, honestly. I mean, normal straight people don't start randomly kissing in the background. Yet, this is probably the first lesbian scene to just randomly happen in the background. Now, you might be thinking that I'm imagining these issues. Well, a wonderful person named Delilah Garrett did some research into this, and what they called it rainbow capitalism. They investigated whether or not Disney participated in rainbow capitalism. What is that? Well, it's the political economy I was just saying earlier, except specifically for LGBTQ plus representation. Now, what has Garrett's data revealed? Well, something surprising. Their analysis took the advertisement done in 2021 and analyzed over 2,000 images advertised by Disney. And they only found 16 images that had some sort of LGBTQ plus representation. That's only 0.0661% of the total images dedicated to LGBTQ plus. Well, that must just mean that Disney doesn't or couldn't be trying to appease the LGBTQ community. Now I say, hold your goddamn horse, Sonny. DS et al., not their name, et al. How do you even say it? Et al. Et al. It's a French way to say and all the rest of the researchers, because, you know, it's not going to be this one person when their last name's DS. It's like 5+ other people, so that's something for a little bit of things. If you ever see a research thing that says et al., it's not the same person. It just means and everyone else, alright? So, they cited DSNL that between 2019 and 2020, LGBTQ plus representation has increased by 10.2%. So even if Disney themselves aren't explicitly advertising this LGBTQ stuff in their movies, the general trend of things just does indicate more and more media we consume will have more representation. Now, one Hisu Sunnysai, I hope to God I pronounced that right. That is a mouthful of a name. I might be Chinese, but I still don't know how to speak Chinese, so I apologize for my lack of cultural understanding of languages. So, don't hold me accountable. I'm trying. She has a doctorate in advertising and chimes in with her research paper. She cites specifically examples where LGBTQ representations are used purely for advertising. There isn't enough statistical data for my liking from this research paper, such as citing over 4,000 LGBTQ themed advertisement from the Commercial Closet Association. I don't know who they are, but they're someone. The number does seem high. I mean, 4,000 is high. But relative to what? Could it be 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, entries? I'm not sure. So, this is a bit of the loose part. She cited in our course as like an important person to reference, but taking a glance at the research paper, I'm a bit iffy on the stuff, but I'm gonna use her for the double brownie points, I'm filling my quota of having enough research papers, and I'm using course material, so look at me go. I'm a big boy and I'm doing my work. But anyways, the point is that, well, within recent times, LGBTQ is becoming a bigger thing than ever before, and companies are trying to capitalize on the profits possible from this. Now, Psy's work is over 10 years old. And she did recently in 2022 addressed her old research at the Advertising and Society Colloquium to give an updated view on what she thinks now. She states that now representation of queer in mainstream media isn't risky or as controversial as it was 10 years ago. And, well, marketers want to appeal to everyone at the same time. And she cites some examples of advertising of which this is prevalent. I'm not sure what Sai has benefited this podcast at all. It's kind of wishy-washy, the information from her. Super open-ended research and super open-ended opinion. But let's talk about our sponsor, me! If you want to support my work, or generally speaking, anything I do, head over to youtube.com/JettYoung. That is JETTYEUNG. Get more great content. Now, back to the podcast. You know, even though I think Arcane is clearly the best LGBTQ representation ever made, it still sort of gets scrubbed of its gayness. A study by Carvalho et al. Like the subtitling changes that the context of LGBTQ scenes presented in Arcane. Generally speaking, it seems like translation from English to Brazilian Portuguese resulted in some differences. Most of it is faithful to the original content. However, there has been work obviously done. Most is context where the non-American culture wouldn't understand such LGBTQ idioms and have to be switched in order to make sense in a less pronounced LGBTQ culture. Though this study is limited on one language as it analyzes, it supports the idea that LGBTQ won't be equally represented despite having the same show. And I was kind of dumbfounded on how Arcane was presented in China. China is just so interesting, as it's still a pretty conservative country when it comes to anything gay. In fact, I learned that apparently presenting gay in media is banned in China, according to TLDR News Global. There are some ways people get around this, such as the game Genshin Impact, an open world game developed in China. It has some characters who happen to be very, very good roommates. And that's the way they kind of get around with being gay, by saying they're just very good roommates. They just happen to do everything together. I couldn't find the original video citing all this information because Google has become sort of enshittified. And if you don't know what enshittification is, it means things are getting worse as time goes on. You remember when you used to Google something and it gives you the answer you want, and now it just gives you like sponsor results? That's enshittification. The same product except much worse. And you pay more with your data. Or in this case, data and them giving you advertisements. Now, Arcane has gone through this gay sanitization. The beloved love scene between Vi and Kate that every lesbian or every woman-loving woman identified person that I just keep seeing on Reddit and TikTok. This scene is just completely gone in China. It's just an awkward cut before they kiss. And I mean, among other scenes where Vi and Kate are either being lovey-dovey or Maddie and Kate. Ugh. Maddie's girls, but I have to bring her up. Everyone hates Maddie. We all hate Maddie. You won't understand unless you watch the show, but Maddie's horrible. Gives me the ick. But in these scenes of any lesbianism or any gay sense, one of the characters are just deleted out of the scene completely. And I mean, it looks strange and awkward as the dialogue and conversation just makes no sense when they're supposed to be together. I mean, in this video, wink wink, I would show they just delete Vi out of the scene when Kate leans her head on the shoulder, but I can't show that because it's a podcast. But it's weird. in order to show this amazing show in China where League of Legends is popular, and let me remind you non-gamers, Arcane is based off League of Legends, the studio had to bend the knee and scrub out any gay stuff that would offend the Chinese government. It's sad to see this being the case, where efforts are done to make LGBTQ work for other cultures, as the study shown by Carvalho, but some countries just outright ban, quote, the gays. Now, I actually never understood how much LGBTQ is just banned by, like, the governments in different countries. Like, especially with Trump and the power and his crap going on. But, like, why does it really matter what people like in a person? I get it's just some traditional crap or something related to religion, but times are changing, and I wish this wasn't a thing to begin with. Like, China's always got to promote themselves as being number one, but they aren't number one at treating people fairly ever. I could go on all the crap they do, but I'm so glad I live in Canada. I can enjoy my favorite lesbian vi, also buy a whole crap ton of Arcane merch, listen to Arcane music, and watch Arcane cosplayers. Hell yeah. Now, my god, I'm gonna be going a little anecdotal here and not much studies because this is getting kind of nichey, this information, but the amount of cosplay from amazing LGBTQ shows are popping off on TikTok. I mean, characters where both normal, straight people like myself and people deeply entwined with the LGBTQ community tend to latch on to these specific characters where them being LGBTQ isn't the plot point. But when the story and the character is done so right without feeling like a crash grab or just being too woke, these characters get massively popular and big. So I think there is a bit of a divide when one side of a show says it's too woke and the other side says it isn't. I think both situations and both sides are true somewhat. Some shows are, I think, too woke or feel like it has been woke in order to appeal to a modern audience. But Arcane, I don't think a single person would say, "Wow, a woke show! Oh my god, there's a gay person in there, why?" It's just an amazing show. I mean, go watch it. Now, anyways, we gotta wrap this up. I'm way over time with this. Let's wrap it up with my thesis I made for the project in the first place. So, current discourse surrounding LGBTQ representation film is polarized, not by the presence of queer characters, but by the method of their inclusion. Audience reject performative tokenism that treats identity as a checklist, while celebrating authentic narratives where queerness is integral to the character's lived experience. Now anyways, thank you for listening. My name is Jet, and you listen to the Time Waste Podcast. Take care, and bye-bye.